Today we're doing something pretty fascinating. We're sort of holding up a mirror, the 21st century mirror, to the mind of C.S. Lewis.
Right.
Now, you probably know him for, the Talking Lions, the Magical Wardrobes, Narnia.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But beyond Narnia, Lewis was this really profound thinker. Theology, the human condition. I mean, really deep stuff.
Absolutely. More than just children's stories, though those are brilliant too.
Oh, definitely. So our mission today, we want to explore what many people see as his, well, strikingly accurate insights, you could almost call them predictions, about our modern world.
And we're drawing these from all over his work, right?
Ah.
Essays, novels, even his letters.
Exactly. It's remarkable, isn't it, how someone writing, mid-20th century can sound so relevant to today's challenges, our anxieties.
It really is. So we're looking at his work through that lens. It's enduring relevance.
Precisely. And think about this just for a second. Imagine a world where, well, the lines between right and wrong start blurring, where truth isn't so much about objective facts, but maybe more about personal feelings, personal opinion.
Okay, yeah.
And, under all the noise, the constant buzz of modern life, there's this feeling, this kind of nagging sense that something important is missing.
That sounds, pretty familiar, actually.
Right. Well, our sources suggest Lewis didn't just foresee these kinds of trends. He really dug into their roots. He saw it coming.
So where should we start? Maybe the abolition of man. That idea of men without chests is pretty powerful.
Let's start there. Can you sort of paint a picture of what Lewis meant by that, men without chests?
Well, he pictured a society that really values intellect, critical thinking, being sharp.
Okay.
But it neglects to train the emotional core, what he called the chest. This is where things like virtue, honor, our basic sense of right and wrong live.
Right. The heart, almost, but maybe more than just emotion.
Exactly. And there's that quote, isn't there? Something like,
oh yeah, the source pulls it out. We make men without chests and expect of them virtue and enterprise. We laugh at honor and are shocked to find traitors in our midst.
wow. Yeah, that hits hard, doesn't it?
It's jarring, like building this incredibly powerful car engine, but forgetting the steering wheel or the brakes.
That's a great analogy. And Lewis connected this directly to education, didn't he? He saw this shift away from teaching objective morality.
Yeah, he predicted that the very idea of universal truths about good and evil would be, well, thrown out, replaced by this belief that values are just subjective, personal truth.
So instead of one moral compass for everyone,
Everyone gets their own. And they could all be pointing in completely different directions.
which feels, incredibly relevant now. You just have to look at the debates online in the news.
Totally. What even is truth anymore? And how often do feelings seem to trump facts in public arguments? It's like that chest, that shared moral ground Lewis talked about, is just eroding.
Yeah, crumbling away. And our sources even suggest a link between that erosion and, well, some of the modern anxieties we see. Mental health struggles, the deep divisions in society.
It's like without that shared foundation, we all feel a bit lost, maybe, adrift.
Which leads to a pretty scary thought Lewis raised. If that internal compass, that sense of real truth, gets weaker, what happens then? How easy are we to influence?
Well, his argument was it leaves us incredibly vulnerable to manipulation.
Right.
If there's no North Star of objective truth to navigate by, then whoever controls the story, whoever shapes the narrative, they basically get to define reality for people.
And the source material points to those inversions you sometimes see, like in dystopian fiction.
Exactly, like freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength, that kind of twisting of meaning. Lewis warned that without that solid moral core, that chest, people are way more likely to fall for that stuff.
Okay, let's shift focus a bit. What about the Screwtape Letters? That offers a different angle on moral decay.
Screwtape. Yeah, this is fascinating and maybe even more unsettling in some ways.
How so?
Because Lewis, writing as this, senior devil coaching a junior tempter,
Yeah.
he shows that the best way to lead humans astray isn't usually through big, dramatic sins. It's gradual.
Gradual.
Yeah, like a slow slide. A series of tiny compromises, a growing complacency. It's like turning down a dimmer switch on your conscience, bit by bit, until it's barely even flickering.
And there's that quote the source highlights about the road to hell.
Oh, that one's chilling.
Yeah.
The safest road to hell is the gradual one, the gentle slope, soft underfoot, without sudden turnings, without milestones, without signposts.
Wow. What does that image make you think of?
It's the danger of not even noticing you're going downhill. There's no big aha moment of choosing evil. It's just drift, a slow drift.
And the source connects this brilliantly to our modern world, doesn't it? All the distractions.
Yes, the constant bombardment, endless entertainment options, the black hole of social media, the never-ending cycle of manufactured outrage.
It's like we're deliberately kept busy, kept looking over here, so we don't notice where we're actually heading over there.
Exactly. The source argues this constant busyness, this nonstop consumption of superficial stuff, it masks a deeper need, a spiritual hunger.
We're filling ourselves up, but not with anything nourishing.
It's like trying to quench a deep thirst by just eating chips constantly. You're always doing something, but you're never actually satisfied.
Which ties perfectly into another core Lewis idea, right? That unsatisfied desire.
Yes, that innate longing. He believed it's just part of being human.
And the source has that famous quote.
If we find ourselves with a desire that nothing in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that we were made for another world.
So powerful. How did Lewis see that longing playing out?
Well, he argued it wasn't meant to be filled by the temporary things the world tells us to chase. You know, money, fame, status, all that stuff.
The usual suspects.
Yeah. He thought that deep ache, that yearning, actually points beyond the material world, towards something eternal, something spiritual. Like our souls are kind of hardwired to be homesick for, well, for somewhere else.
A built-in compass pointing beyond the everyday.
Exactly. So constantly chasing these temporary fixes, money, power, likes on social media, in Lewis's view, it's never going to work. It's a recipe for perpetual dissatisfaction.
Like chasing a mirage. Always seems just ahead, but you never reach it.
Precisely. And then the source material takes us to that hideous strength, which tackles the danger of unchecked power, especially when it dresses itself up as progress.
Ah, yes. NICE, the National Institute of Coordinated Experiments. Sounds harmless enough.
Right. Sounds beneficial even.
Yeah.
It promises scientific advancement, a better world through planning and expertise. But Lewis shows how, underneath, it's really a control.
Control over everything.
Pretty much. Not just what people do, but what they think, what they believe. It's this slow, creeping takeover disguised as efficiency and improvement.
It's a chilling picture, really. How easily power can gather itself up, promising good things.
And the source highlights how NICE chips away at individual freedom, at faith, all in the name of this apparent progress. And it asks that really tough question. How willing are we, to trade freedom for safety, for security, for the promise of some expert-led utopia?
You definitely see echoes of that tension today. Technology, governance, trusting the experts.
Absolutely. And Lewis was deeply concerned, the source points out, about just blindly accepting authority figures, about giving up personal responsibility.
What's the core danger there, do you think?
I think it's when truth itself becomes just another tool for those in charge. If truth isn't anchored to something higher, something objective, then it can be bent and shaped to fit any agenda.
It becomes whatever the powerful say it is.
Right. And the source draws that line directly to worries we have today about, big institutions, media, shaping the narrative. Who controls the information?
But it's really important, isn't it? And the source stresses this, that Lewis isn't just about warnings. There's real hope there, too.
Oh, absolutely. That's crucial. Despite all these sharp, sometimes scary observations, Lewis had this fundamental belief in the ultimate victory of good, of truth, of hope.
But it's not passive, right? It's not just going to happen automatically.
No, definitely not. The source really emphasizes that. It requires us to engage. It demands individual choices. We have to actively resist that slide into complacency. We have to hold on to those deeper truths, even when society maybe laughs at them or calls them old-fashioned.
And it circles back to the immense value Lewis placed on each individual person. He really believed every single life matters, profoundly. And the choices we make, however small they seem, they actually count in this bigger cosmic picture.
Yeah. So as you're listening to this, maybe some of these ideas Lewis raised are hitting home. If you've ever felt that kind of unease about where things are going, or that nagging feeling that, something important is getting drowned out by all the noise.
Well, the source material basically says, you're not alone. C.S. Lewis saw you coming, in a way. He wrestled with these same questions.
He really did. And he left behind this trail of wisdom, these signposts maybe, to help navigate it all.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How do we actually use that wisdom today?
Well, Lewis himself wrote, "Courage to your heart."
That's such a great line.
It is, because the world keeps changing, right? There's always going to be lies, confusion. It can feel overwhelming. But Lewis believed those fundamental truths, they stick around. They endure.
And as our source concludes, we all have a part to play in standing up for them, each of us.
So maybe the provocation for you listening today is this. Just take a moment. Reflect. Which of Lewis's warnings, or maybe which of his encouragements, resonates most with your experience right now?
And then maybe think about one small thing, one small intentional step you could take, starting today, to push back against what the source called that slow drift. Just one small step.